What's going on, swim fans? Welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday, and in today's video, I'm sharing with you how to improve your breath control. In this video, I'm gonna walk through why it matters, how you can improve your breath control, and I'm actually gonna share a tool that I've been using to improve my lung capacity by up to 25%. More on that at the end of the video. And before we get there, I'm gonna share a few different swim workouts that'll help you improve your breath control. I have a swim workout for beginners and a swim workout for advanced swimmers. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome to my Swim Pro, where we share the latest and greatest to help you improve your performance and health, both in and out of the water. So if you're looking to take your swimming to the next level and swim faster and smarter than ever before, you've come to the right place. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and make sure you join the first link in the description. That is our global Facebook group, one of the biggest on the web. All sorts of swimmers, from beginners, intermediate, advanced, former Olympians from over 100 different countries who are all passionate about getting better. Now let's talk about breath control and why it matters. When you're in the water, it's really an uncomfortable place. It's not natural to be in the water. And so if you can improve your breath control, you're gonna gain more confidence in the water. And when you have more confidence in the water, you're gonna enjoy the process more. And this applies whether you're a beginner swimmer or you're more advanced and you're trying to do a 50 free in no breath or a 200 breaststroke and you're trying to maximize your distance off the walls. Regardless of your goal, you're gonna enjoy it more, and that's gonna yield the best results. We're talking about not only fitness goals, but also performance goals. We mentioned the no breather 50 freestyle. If you're trying to get those couple tenths of a second off your time, every little bit of an advantage can help, and breath control or lack of breathing during a specific race can definitely help you get there. Now, there's a few different ways that you can do this. When it comes to improving your breath control, actually the number one way that you can do this is by improving your technique. When you improve your technique, it allows you to swim more efficiently. And when you swim more efficiently, you actually use less oxygen, therefore improving your overall swimming economy. And that refers to how efficient you're swimming. A great metric in swimming is the SWALF score. This is a combination of how many strokes you take and how much time it takes you to take those strokes. So I was actually, when I was writing this, I was writing max distance per stroke the first time I wrote this out. And that's actually not true, because if you maximize your distance per stroke and you take very few strokes, that's actually less efficient because you're not gonna be breathing as much and actually might slow you down. Now, if you take too many strokes and you spin your arms as fast as possible, well, obviously that's going to be less efficient. So there's a balance, and you can work on different drills, you can train more, and that's how you're gonna improve your technique. That really is the most fundamental way to improve your efficiency and therefore your breath control. Now, what can you do beyond just swimming more efficiently? Well, you can actually do some things in training, and the workouts we're gonna talk about allow you to focus on breath control. That could be anything from swimming longer distances, limiting the number of breaths you take per length, or doing things with interval training where you actually restrict the breathing that you're doing while you swim. And the third way, which we're going to talk about in a lot of depth, is diaphragmatic training. This is where you strengthen your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is that musculature that surrounds your torso. That's what allows your lungs to expand and contract. Because if you don't have the diaphragm muscles engaged, you're not going to be able to do that. And when you fatigue, your diaphragm is actually what's fatiguing. So we're going to talk about diaphragmatic strength in just a second. But it's really important to understand that regardless of what your goal is, whether it's training for the 50 freestyle to do it in no breath, or to just get started, make sure you check out a video I did on how to float. It's a great video for beginners. If that's interesting, make sure you check it out, linked in the description below. Maybe you've got the 200 breaststroke or butterfly and you want to improve your underwaters. That's where this is really important. Or maybe you're training for something longer and you feel out of breath, maybe a 400 meter, whether it's a race or in training, and you just feel out of breath. So I want to give a shout out to our sponsor of this video, Airofit. Now, Airofit is the first ever breathing trainer for swimmers. I actually have the product with me right here. Now, this product is fantastic, and I've been using it for a few weeks, and I have actually taken the lung capacity test, and I was able to improve my lung capacity, get this guys, from 5.8 liters to 7.5 liters in just a few weeks. That's a 25% improvement. Now, the results may vary, obviously, and I believe research has shown that this product can improve your lung capacity by up to 8% in about 8 weeks. And you see the results actually in the very beginning. So this is a fantastic product. And the way it works is basically by enhancing your oxygenation, your diaphragmatic strength, and your vital lung capacity. I'm going to share a little bit about how it works, but really there are only these 3 ways to improve. If you think there's more, awesome. Let me know in the comments how you're working on improving your breath control and your lung capacity. We've already talked about technique and pool training. Now we're going to talk about something that you can do 5, 10, 15 minutes every single day to improve your breath control out of the water. You can do this in the morning or in the evening. And the way it works is actually a smartphone application that has training programs specific to the activity. So it's actually designed specifically for swimmers, different training programs that actually sync via Bluetooth with this breathing trainer. It's a fantastic product. I did an unboxing video, so you guys can check it out, linked in the description, along with a discount code specifically for my SwimPro subscribers. So thank you so much for being a part of the community, and thank you to Airofit for giving us a sick deal for anyone who wants to check out this product, which I highly recommend. Now, how does it actually work? So we got a smartphone app, and we've got a breathing trainer, and we follow the training program. You stick it in your mouth, and basically you forcefully exhale or inhale, following the program in the app, and it's sort of gamified. So you actually follow these training programs. It's sort of like you're doing a video game on your phone, and your breath control is actually what's manipulating what you see on the screen via Bluetooth in real time. It's got an in cartridge and out cartridge where you actually are able to regulate how restrictive the breathing exercise is, and you just follow the training program. Very, very simple to use. So how does it actually work? When you're focusing on diaphragmatic strength, there's a few different elements at play. The first one is that by increasing respiratory strength, by focusing directly on the intercostals and the diaphragm, your breathing muscles are actually going to be faster and stronger. So what this basically means is your lungs and your diaphragm is actually in better shape. So that way, as you work out and as you exercise, your muscles are able to operate more efficiently when it comes to your breathing. Similarly, when you train for swimming or running or weightlifting, you're basically exercising the muscle. So that way, at rest, it doesn't really feel like it's doing anything. And then when you need to apply any type of force or any type of strength and any kind of result, your body's already been trained to do so. So that's what we're talking about here on this first point. The second point is that by increasing the flexibility of your diaphragm, you're actually increasing that vital lung capacity. This is, I believe, how I was able to improve my lung capacity by so much, so quickly, just because I was able to improve the flexibility and the range of motion of my diaphragm. Because even though you swim and you're in a flat position, what's happening is when you swim, you're not fully leveraging the max output of your lungs when you're doing the swimming strokes. It feels like you are, and it feels like maybe you're gonna die when you're doing some of these activities and you're swimming a 50 freestyle as fast as you can. You feel really exhausted at the end, but you're not really focusing on just the lungs and the diaphragm. And when you have a specific focus like that out of the water, that's where you can start to see some pretty significant results out of the water and then apply them back into the water. Thirdly here, this increased mindfulness makes you more comfortable and more confident. So I did a 50 set that I'm going to talk about in just a second, and I felt so easy doing a 50 freestyle without taking a breath. I mean, it was part of my workout, and I'm a more advanced swimmer, so doing one breath in a 25-meter pool is really not that difficult for me. If you're a beginner swimmer, maybe it's just making it to the other end of the pool and you don't feel gas. That would be huge. It'll make you more comfortable in the water and more confident as well. And fourthly, when you train apnea, you basically train your ability to hold your breath, and that increases your anaerobic threshold so that your muscles get used to oxygen debt. So when you do a lactate set and you do 650s freestyle on the 2-minute or 3-minute, you're going as fast as you can, and you really feel the lactic acid building. When you're able to train this specifically by the flexibility of your lungs or diaphragm, it allows you to have that anaerobic capacity built up. So that way when your body goes into oxygen debt, your body is already used to what's happening. So all of that available with the Airofit breathing device and the companion smartphone app. Make sure you check it out, linked in the description below with a special discount code for all of you guys. Again, shout out to Airofit and make sure you check it out. Highly recommend it. Now let's talk about these different training programs that you can do in the pool. So I've got a beginner workout. Now this workout is 1,000 meters and we're not gonna follow interval training. We're actually gonna take rests based on the number of breaths you take. You can apply this for a more advanced swimmer. This is a great progression ladder I'm gonna talk about. The warm up, we're gonna go 450s freestyle, 10 breaths rest. So you take 10 breaths, push off for number 2. If you guys are interested in learning more about workout and set structure and terminology, I did a Whiteboard Wednesday where I talk about and explain all of these different features of a workout. Make sure you check it out, linked in the description below. Then you've got 425s kick that can be streamlined, just your legs, 5 breaths rest. Then you can do 425 stroke, that could be IM order, butterfly backstroke, breaststroke freestyle, or all backstroke, up to you. 10 breaths rest. Now the main set is a really fun one. You're actually gonna go a ladder. So you're gonna go a 25, then a 50, then a 75, then a 100, then the ladder descends. So you're gonna go 100, 75, 50, 25. What you're gonna do is you're gonna focus on how often you're breathing. On the first 25, you're gonna breathe every 2 strokes. So you take an arm stroke, breathe. Another arm stroke, breathe to the same side. On the 50, again, every 2 strokes. At the 75, now we're gonna breathe every 3 strokes. At the 100, now we're gonna breathe every 3 strokes. On the second 100, as we go down the ladder on the other side, we're gonna breathe every 4 strokes. So we're restricting the total number of breaths we take per length, counting the number of strokes we do. Then on the 75, every 4 strokes, you take a breath. Then at the 50, every 5 strokes, you take a breath. And on the final 25, every 5 strokes, you take a breath. And by the time you get to the end, that will actually feel relatively easy because the distance is decreasing even though you're taking less strokes. And what you're doing there is you're actually improving your lung capacity because you're expanding that diaphragm. Now it's different than what we talked about with the Airofit, where you're able to do that on a much more focused level. But when you have that swimming specific focus, that's definitely gonna be a great way to train in the water. We're gonna finish off with 250s freestyle at 10 breaths rest. It's 1,000 meters, and it should be very easy to have controlled breathing by the end of this. Now, if you're a more advanced swimmer, we've got a good one for you. This is actually one that I used to do in college. I did this the other day and it felt so easy after training with the Airofit. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a warm-up set, 5 100s free on the 145, 450s kick on the 110, try and go halfway underwater. 450s IM order on the minute, try and go halfway underwater on each 25. The intervals can be adjusted based on your skill level. Now the preset, really important here, we're gonna go a 300 pull where we breathe every 3 or every 5 strokes. This is starting to open up the lung capacity. It's a little bit more aerobic, about 4 minutes, 3-4 minutes of swimming there. Then we're gonna go 8 75s freestyle. And I don't have it written here, but the way you do each 75, on the first 25, you breathe every 3 strokes. On the second 25, you breathe every 5 strokes, and on the third 25, you breathe every 7 strokes. That gets more difficult every 25, and if you do that every single 75 across 8 75s, you're really gonna start to warm up the lungs and expand that flexibility that we were talking about. Now the main set is very difficult, in my opinion. You can make it easier or even more difficult based on how you structure it. You're gonna go 10 50s total, 2 rounds of 5 50s. I choose to do these on the 110. It's about 1-to-1 work-rest ratio. Swimming for 35 seconds, resting for 35 seconds, about. On the first 50, you're gonna take 2 breaths on the first 25 and then 2 breaths on the second 25. On the second 50, you're only gonna take 1 breath on the way down, 2 breaths on the way back. On the third 50, you're gonna take 1 breath down, 1 breath back. And then on the fourth 50, no breath down, 1 breath back. And then on the final 50, you're gonna take 0 breaths for the whole 50. Repeat that because you're doing it 2 rounds. So if you notice the pattern, you're taking 1 breath off per 50. So the first 50, you go 4 breaths, then 3, then 2, then 1, and then 0 breaths on the last 50. And the first round of 5 should actually be pretty difficult. And the second round, your lungs will have already been more expanded. If you can keep your heart rate low, it's actually not gonna be that difficult. Now, if this is too hard, you can always increase the interval. You can get more rest, or you can increase the number of breaths you take. If this is too easy, do a faster interval so that way you have less time to recover and your heart rate, it's more difficult to keep your heart rate low. So these are 2 swim workouts that really allow you to focus on in the water training. Again, it's important to have proper technique. If you guys are looking for a tool to use out of the water, I highly recommend the Airofit. It's an amazing smartphone application and breathing trainer. It's helped me significantly. Again, if you haven't watched that unboxing video I did, make sure you check it out, linked in the description below, right next to the promo code to pick one up for yourselves. I hope you guys enjoyed this video talking about breath control, how you can swim that 50 freestyle, no breather, or a 200 breaststroke or 200 fly, whatever your goal is. I hope you guys can be successful in achieving it, and let us know in the comments what questions or other videos you'd like to see from us. Happy swimming.